Hello, Billy. Welcome to the Hidden Why podcast. Great to have you here today.
Yeah. Hey, thank you so much. I love the opportunity.
That's an absolute pleasure, mate. Whereabouts are you in the world?
I am born and raised in Seattle, Washington, still living here and working here.
Yeah. Okay. You ever moved far from there or?
I've traveled the world quite a bit, but there's nothing like home. So
Nothing like home.
I've always kind of found my way back to home, which is in Seattle.
Yeah. Nice, man. Nice. Well, welcome to the show. You've got a bit of an interesting story. I guess everyone's got an interesting story, but certainly yours is one which is a bit more unique. Give us a little bit of a background as to your journey and where you are now.
Yeah, sure thing. So I'm a wheelchair user. That wasn't always the case. I broke my neck at 18 and I fell out of a 3-story window. And really when that happened, it was a spinal cord injury and my life changed immediately.
So sorry, fell out of a 3-story window?
Fell out of a 3-story window, head first fall and to concrete and broke my neck, broke my back and just a spinal cord injury. And my life just changed in a hurry.
Well, it would do. That's amazing. How did you manage to fall out of a window, can I ask?
Well, I don't know. I think it was kind of a sleepwalk kind of deal. I never really figured that out. Certainly when I was going through rehab, I asked that question all the time, like, why me? Why did this happen? And it ended up being like more of an unanswerable question. So I just kind of moved on.
Wow. Okay. Such a young age. But I mean, I guess you're probably grateful that you're here still and doing what you're doing.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, there were so many things I was grappling with and I finally figured it out. It's like, you know what? It's like, it's not a matter of why it happened. It's a matter of I'm still around. I mean, I fall like that, you crunch the numbers, it should kill you. But just the fact that I was still around, I'm kind of living on bonus time.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. So tell us a little bit about that journey then. So you fell out the window, you went through some pretty serious rehab, I would assume, and probably operations and things like that too.
I did. Yeah. So it was a big operation on my neck and my lower back. So I got metal in both places. And then I just, that fall left me as a quadriplegic. So it affected all 4 limbs of my body, my hands, my hand function. I just don't have the best dexterity. So there were just a lot of things I had to relearn how to do, like brush my teeth, write my name, figure out I wasn't walking all of a sudden. So I had to figure out what wheelchairs and replace my legs. And I don't know, just like day by day, just trying to get better.
Yeah.
And get back out there in the world.
What can I ask your age now, Billy?
I am 44. I think I got to crunch the numbers there. Yeah, okay. 44 now, broke my neck at 18.
Okay, well, you've done the journey. Can I ask, I mean, that's something fairly significant to go through in life, and I guess not everyone can share that sort of a story. For you, what was the motivation or inspiration to push through that? Because I imagine it's not at all easy.
Yeah, it was, I don't know. There was just a situation where I started focusing on, it really rooted in like me still being around, still being alive. I mean, when I was in the hospital, all I could think about was the stuff that I had lost. I mean, that's like immediately when you're 18 years old, you're so independent and you're just like kind of bullheaded as well and ready to take on the world by storm. And all of a sudden I just kind of felt like I was robbed of all that. And so as I'm laying on my hospital bed and trying to figure out what the next steps were going to be, it just took me to a dark place. I mean, I was just really sad about it.
Yeah.
But then what happened was it was a matter of like a switch got flipped, and I realized that I was still alive for one. I still had a brain, and I felt like I still had some value to add. So I started to build my foundation on that, and just like inch by inch, just tried to make some progress.
Wow. Did you read books or podcasts? I mean, what was your headspace there to push through that?
Well, I was in rehab. I was an inpatient in the hospital. So I really focused 100% on my efforts on rehabilitation, getting stronger, figuring out how to use what I still had the best that I could. Trying to find like mentors that have been in wheelchairs, they'd already been in wheelchairs quite some time, and ask them questions of, just kind of tricks of the trade, where some of the tricks they learned along the way, one mentally to cope, but also just like, what kind of equipment, what kind of gear were they using, how to dress yourself, just like small little small little tidbits of information. I was really clawing at anything.
Yeah. That's quite a journey. And now you're running a fairly successful company.
I am. Yeah. So, when we talk about dressing, I mean, I was kind of alluding to that just a little bit there. Along the way, I figured out how to do a lot of things, but really the one thing that escaped me, I figured out how to put my pants on, how to put my shoes on, or excuse me, how to put my shirt on and my sweatshirt and all that jazz. But the one thing I didn't have sorted out was shoes. And on the market, there really wasn't anything that, satisfying my needs. So I teamed with a good friend later on in life that turned out that he was working on a shoe project of his own. And when he was telling me about it, I threw an idea at him. I'm like, you know what? I bet if we have a shoe with the zipper in it that goes around, it goes the outside around the toe, it folds over, I could step my foot in unobstructed and really take back that independence. And he had the contacts in place. He made a prototype, and sure enough, it worked just as we had hoped. And it was really just such a special moment in time that we opted to share it with the world. And we didn't know what it would look like, but we just kind of threw it out there, and it started resonating just really well with just a huge amount of people. And we turned it into a business and never looked back.
That's cool. I'm just looking at the website now. Is this the right one? Everyhuman.com? Or is that...
So Every Human, I love that you're on Every Human right now. Every Human is one of our distributor partners. So they all the traffic that we have in Australia and New Zealand and kind of in that area, we point traffic to them. We also we have a retail partner over in New Zealand as well. But those two, Every Human and Adaptive Footwear, those two entities kind of command that area.
Okay. But I see the website here, BILLYFootwear.com.
Yep, exactly. That's the mothership. And
the one. Okay.
Yeah. And
so
it's been awesome.
Right around the front of the toe and up the side, so it just flips right open.
Exactly. It kind of flips over and just exposes the whole inner footbed, and you can drop your foot in unobstructed. And it's been awesome. It's been awesome for a couple of reasons. One is, like those that need the function, because we want to smash fashion and function together in the spirit of inclusion. And those that need the function have really been empowered. But the thing is, it's a trendy looking shoe. I mean, it can sit on the shelves of major retailers. And like an example, like my 3-year-old kid, right? Anything I can do to get him out the door faster is always a good thing. So he can put his shoes on without trouble at all.
Yeah. They look the part too. They look kind of stylish, and they actually look comfortable. You got the laces up the front there, so it looks like it's pretty much a regular shoe, isn't it? But just an easier concept. It
is, yeah. And I'm glad you called out the laces. The laces are functional, so they can kind of get the fit right, because everyone's foot. I mean, for the most part, everyone has feet, but you use the laces to get the fit right. Kind of your custom fit for your own foot, and then just use the zipper afterwards.
Have you got business ones in these?
I do, yeah. So I mean, we have a whole adult line, and we do. I mean, I guess it's more business casual. We haven't really gone full formal yet, but that is in the cooker. We do get the request from customers.
Yeah, I'm into it. I constantly take my shoes on and off throughout my day, so lace ups become a little bit painful,
Yeah, right. That's the thing. I mean, everyone loves a convenient shoe, so it's great to be able to have a design out there that really facilitates that need for everyone.
Yeah, and I think the thing with laceless shoes, whilst they're easy to slip on and off, they're not always the right fit, and can be worse for your feet too.
Correct. Yeah, you have to shove your foot in that shoe, and it either fits or it doesn't. There's really no flexibility whatsoever. So we try to combine like all the benefits of a quick and easy slip on with some adjustability, and also just add that function for those who really need it.
I like it. So how long has this company been running for now, Billy?
So we started our company in February 2012, but it takes some time to really ramp it up and build it. So we really didn't hit the shelves of major retailers until August of 2017. So it was really, all concept for a number of years. And then we started getting connected with the right people that could really help us to move forward. So August of 2017, that's when we hit the shelves for back to school. Yeah, back to school in the Northern Hemisphere. And then we was really just off to the races. And then as we got the word more and more out, people were sharing it. And all of a sudden, people from all over the world were reaching out, one of which being Australia. And it's just been awesome to not only help the customer, like facilitate to the customer, but also like build relationships with retail partners in those areas too, to do even more and more value.
Yeah. Who came up with the name?
Well, that wasn't me. That was my co-founder. He's like, you know what? I mean, the brand's kind of rooted in your story, so we got to call it Billy. And I was like, all right.
It actually works, but doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it worked well with the logo too. It's like it's kind of a play on words. We wanted to have a logo because our logo is a goat, and it's like Billy Goat. Like, okay, but we also wanted to have like a logo that's really embodied tenacity, grit, determination. With if it's facing any challenges, it's gonna put its head down and blast right through it. So
yeah,
that's that.
The logo. I'm just trying to find this logo now. Oh yeah, the goat. Cool. I like it. So that's, I guess I like the idea. I mean, I like how the idea was born out of a pain point that you had personally. And then you've used that and come up with an idea, but actually gone through and executed as well. I guess a lot of people have ideas, but they find the barrier between idea and creation or execution very difficult. Is there anything that you can sort of give us there, or tell us, how you manage that concept?
Yeah, and that's a great point, because you hit it right on the head. It is difficult. It's difficult. It's costly. It takes a long time. It's just everything. It's challenging. So what I'd really say is, like, if your heart's there and your passion's there and you really believe in the product or the solution or whatever it is that you're building, I mean, it could be a nonprofit, whatever it is, you just got to lean into it. Don't quit. And just know that it's going to take some time. It's probably never going to go as fast as you want it to. But then when you build that foundation, get ready, because it can really take off. And get ready for those challenges too. When it does take off, you need to be able to get like a great team around you to help, build it with you. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's your baby. It's like, so this whole company started with Darin and myself. So we need to be the biggest cheerleaders. We need to be the biggest, advocates for the brand, and really choose those relationships to help us build it.
Who's your partner, business partner?
His name's Darin Donaldson.
Darin?
Darin and I, we've been longtime friends. We grew up together, rode the bus together, played baseball together. So we've known each other a long time. So
nice one. So yeah, I mean, just keep on going with your plan, I suppose, is always good advice. Obviously Darin, you said, had a bit of something in the background already happening. Did that help the process? No,
it definitely did. Yeah, it was interesting. He just really challenged himself to do something that he'd never done before. He's like, you know what? I mean, he basically said to himself, I like shoes. I'm going to go out and learn how to make shoes. I'm going to figure out what it takes to manufacture, what it takes to design it, and talk to the right people to be able to create a prototype and actually start his own little brand. So he had his own little shoe project going, and that's what he was sharing with me. And I just got so excited about it. That's when I threw him an idea of my own. And it was just, it was just a spontaneous thing at a party, just kind of catching up. And then it's interesting how that small little moment in time, fast forward years later, has really turned into something like a big company that's putting food on a lot of employees' tables that we have right now, but also just adding a lot of value to a lot of people.
Yeah, but it's one thing to bring up an idea at a party, but then to take it serious and commit to that idea is another thing. So obviously you both found value in the idea to take that next step.
Yeah, very much so. And it was a side hustle for a number of years. I mean, we had our full-time jobs we were doing during the day, and we'd work on the shoe project. We basically work 9 to 5 and then work on shoes from 5 till midnight in the weekends. And then just over a number of years, started to get some, pun intended, traction with our project. And, we started bringing people on the team that ended up being fantastic door openers for. So just one step at a time.
So how many years, because you said you had the idea in 2012 and launched it 2017 as a side hustle? I think that's a really important point. A lot of people, we often hear about side hustle, but maybe people don't really appreciate the amount of hours you put in. Now, you were just saying like 5 to 12 and weekends were the time you put in. Is that true? And how long for were you doing that sort of side hustle?
Yeah. So I would say we really started doing the side hustle, just fully focused on the shoes for about 3 years. And when we had that conversation that we're talking about, when I threw the idea at him, that was in December of 2011. And we started our business, actually had a business license in February 2012, but it was years later until we actually hit the shelves of stores.
Yeah.
So we really had no idea like what it was going to take to like start a shoe company. So we kind of dabbled with other kind of side projects to be able to generate some revenue, because we knew it was going to cost a lot of money. And the actual prototype, the shoe prototype, wasn't made until 2015. So it was quite some time. And then, but as soon as we made the prototype, when we really got serious about it, that's when I'd really say the side hustle started. And we did a couple of crowdfunding campaigns. That was great for generating revenue, getting people excited about the idea, and then also just getting the word out. So then as we continue to grow, like kind of, you know, expanding that newsletter crowd, if you will, they've just been, you know, staunch supporters ever since.
It's amazing. I love it. Love the journey. Tell us a little bit about, I guess, some of the challenges starting off with an idea that you faced. And I can think of a few that I would probably think you'd face. And number one would be, how the hell do we actually bloody make a shoe? Like, you know, design it, number one, and get the plans, and then actually get it made.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. We learned early on that we needed to get connected with the people that really knew what they were doing. Yeah. And we were fortunate enough, a connection through Darin. He was working on, Darin was he's always been a staunch entrepreneur. He's always had little projects going. And he was actually working on a t-shirt project where he got connected with a guy that was a shoe dog. You know, he worked on you know, a number of different shoes. He'd been a sales rep for a number of years. And he was kind of the next member that joined our team. His name is Patrick Foster. And he ended up being really the door opener for us to get into the right room to have conversations with stores, to be able to, you know, Patrick wasn't the one that got us into the stores. He was the one that got us into the rooms to have conversations with people that we could like share the brand, share the mission, share the idea, and kind of like draw some light on what we wanted to do. And a lot of those stores could have said no, but instead they said yes. And the same thing went when it came to actually making the shoes, like the actual factories. We didn't go directly to a factory. We go to an agent that would help us navigate to a factory. And again, just kind of painting that picture of what we wanted to do, kind of the mission statement. And again, they could have said no, but instead they said yes. And then after they say yes, then it's like, okay, how on earth are we going to pay for this? Because you go to banks and whatnot. I mean, they're not going to really talk about a high risk business. I mean, like going out and starting your shoe company, it's like one of the most competitive business on the planet. So, you know, you got to really be willing to put all your stuff up on collateral or just self-fund it. And that's what we did until we started getting that, you know, better financing with banks and stuff, and to be able to have like revenue coming in from sales to really just kind of keep growing it.
And I guess that's the thing. Once you get to that point where you can actually see a product and see the value coming back in, then, you know, more people are inclined to back it. But getting started is a lot more difficult, because a lot of people won't back a risky concept or idea.
Yeah, very much so.
But that's really cool, because I know many people out there. I've got my brother always in my head telling me ideas. But, you know, actually going out there and finding, hey, how do we actually create this and make this? It's a different challenge. Did you just find that it was just a game of numbers? You just kept going out there and you had a lot of rejection along the way too? Or did you just get fortunate and have a couple of wins pretty early?
Well, one really big win that we had early on was as soon as we got into, like, one of the big stores we have up here in the United States is Nordstrom. And we were placed in Nordstrom, and there was a mom that went into that store and had a really positive experience, went home and made a Facebook post about it. And it was the type of post that there wasn't really a whole lot to it, but there was just a lot of honesty, I guess, from the mom, just talking about her success. And for whatever reason, when she posted it, it just got shared. It got shared in 3 days' time, 280,000 times. And now Lifetime has been shared over 600,000 times. So this was pretty early after we had just hit the shelves of stores. And then all of a sudden you get this post that goes viral, and there were just so many people that were finding out the brand all of a sudden. Now, at that time, we didn't even have an e-commerce site. We were directing all of our traffic. If someone came to our website, we would push all the traffic to our retail partners. Yeah. So our retail partners sold out of all their product overnight. And then it was a matter of like, oh my gosh, they would recognize that this brand they were kind of taking a gamble on. Yeah. They recognized like, oh my gosh, we need to restock and we need to have a deeper inventory. So that viral exposure, really set us up well for success later on. But it was it's still a grind, but it was just like onesie, twosie all the way to that point. And then it just, there was a big fire lit under it.
That's awesome, man. Awesome. Great range of shoes here. I'm just looking at the Australian side now. The, with the, I guess, business now that once you got to that launch point, what did you do to make, obviously the shoe itself is quite a unique product and it was probably no competition, I guess, in what you designed and created there. But as you said before, shoe companies are prolific and it's very competitive. What did you do to position yourself differently? Was it thought about, or was it just, let's do this? And
well, first off, it was a matter of like, we had to be competitive. There's no reason, if we were to enter into the market, we had to be able to have a shoe that looked like it belonged next to the big boys. It has to sit next to Converse, Vans, Nike, whatever it may be. And it has to have a price point that, matches that as well. The real delineator, the real, like our separating part was going to be the zipper and really like the functionality of that zipper and what it offers up. It's a design, I guess it nestles into the shoe well, but it also offers access to the shoe like nothing before. So what we did was we really focused on going in store and just, participating a lot in some of these pop-up events where we go in, like really take the time to like educate the customer, like drive traffic to the site saying, hey, we're going to be in store. And then we'd have like just in-person events to really educate the customer on the difference between our shoes and the other. And as soon as, you can look at the shoe and you can see the zipper, but as soon as you have it in your hand or on foot and you zip that up and you see your entire foot, it ends up being like, oh my gosh, wow, like that's never been done before. And then it's a whole different type of conversation.
So, did you start off small there, or did you just go on a road trip and go store by store? How did you also promote that?
Well, we weren't in very many stores, so the road trip wasn't that long. Okay. It was kind of a road trip, but as I say, we weren't on very many storefronts, and a lot of them were local, not too far away from where we live.
Okay.
And then the success from that, then all of a sudden they started expanding into other states, and then we'd have to jump on the plane and go there. But every time it was just a real fun event because you're getting the sales, not only getting the customer excited, but you're getting the sales staff excited. They're having something new to talk about. And then also you'd have customers that would come in that they were able to serve. Sometimes they were able to serve audiences they hadn't been able to serve before. Like all of a sudden someone's rolling in a wheelchair, or someone's coming in with braces, and now they have a shoe that's easy for that customer to put on themselves. Whereas before it was just more like your stereotypical type of, just like ambulatory kid. So it was cool to be able to all of a sudden expand the audience of some of these stores.
For those stores as well. Yeah, that's a good point. That's something quite unique. I'm not a huge shoe person myself, but I certainly wear them. But I've never come across, some brand doing shoe examples, or what do you call it, presentations in a shoe shop. So that's a great idea, isn't it? Just thinking about how you can reach the customer differently. That provides not only you value in spreading the name and the customer, but also the supporting store.
Yeah. And it's been fun too. Because our path has been really unique, and it's cool because we get a lot of customers that reach out that have, like you were talking about earlier, like they have their ideas and they're like, how do I bring this to market? And it's like, well, someone can ask me about building a business or being an entrepreneur, and we can certainly share our story. Our path isn't necessarily going to be the exact same as their path, but just giving them a highlight of like just the grind. It's really important to like highlight that stuff, and it definitely resonates with them.
Yeah, and that grind piece, and the perseverance and the resilience, I suppose, to keep on going is very important part of the journey. And like you said, 2011 or 2012 until now, 2022. I mean, that's a fairly good time frame. But now you've obviously seen the hard work paying off. There's no doubt still hard work day by day, but at least it's come to that point where it's certainly paying the dividends. I think it's a wonderful journey and a wonderful story. I really appreciate you sharing it. There's so many more questions I could probably go into, but for now, mate, I've really enjoyed this, and I'm actually looking at prices here on the Australian site. Very affordable shoes. I need a new pair of shoes, and it's not just for people in wheelchairs, I suppose, but for anyone, isn't it? Like, they look fantastic. So,
yep, that was the whole premise. We want to take fashion, function, smash it together. It really in the spirit of inclusion, but a universal design, something that is convenient for everybody, but really empowers those that needs that function. So, everyhuman.com.au, they are a fantastic partner. We absolutely love Everyhuman. So I'll definitely point traffic that way. But if you want to come to the mothership, it's BILLYFootwear.com, and on social, it's @BILLY Footwear.
Yeah. So I'll put the links in the show notes here. Is there a way that you, obviously you can go to a store and buy a pair of shoes, and I've never bought a pair of shoes online myself, but if I was to look at a pair of shoes, I'm looking at one here now, which is a man's tan suede mesh Billy Comfort Classic. Looks kind of nice. Is there a way that we measure our feet and buy online that makes it easy, or?
Yeah, great question. So on our, I don't know where it's located on Everyhuman's website, but
on your website, that's where I'm.
Yep. So if you're on BILLYFootwear.com, there's a drop down where it says help. If you go to help and you drop down, you'll see a thing that says sizing chart. That sizing chart it's rather in depth. It's probably a more, like, you look at it, you may get overwhelmed. But what we wanted to do is we wanted to try to, give as much information as possible, because a foot is a 3-dimensional object. And then, traditional sizing charts are only 2-dimensional. So you're trying to come up with a 2-dimensional measurement for a 3-dimensional object. So our sizing chart does a lot of circumference measurements around the ball of the foot, as well as more towards the ankle. But if you want to see like the length and the width, you should do that too.
Yeah, it looks pretty informative. I'm looking at the chart now, so that's cool. What's next for Billy?
It's to keep growing. We got to just keep growing. I mean, we got a lot of SKUs, a lot of ideas in the cooker, and I say we got to keep growing. And I say that not in the spirit of like, I want to be this really big business owner. I say that in the spirit of a business that's rooted in trying to add value and make a difference in the world. And in order for us to add value and to make a difference, we need to get bigger, so we have more to contribute. So that's our goal.
Yeah. What are your values? Do you have like a mission statement or values as a business?
Yeah. I say it enough. I hope I got it memorized. It's we seek to be a brand. We seek to be a brand, more than a brand of success, but a brand of significance. And we do that by adding value and making a measurable difference in the world, one foot at a time.
I like it. Mate, I'd love to see a book about your story, because I think it's impressive, and there'd be a lot in your head there, I think, that would be of value to other people. So maybe that'll come one day, and let me know how the journey goes, Billy. I'd love to have you on again one day.
Oh, I'd love it too. Thank you so much again.
Guys, you can check it all out at thehiddenwhy.com. I think this is episode 1026 with Billy, and I'll stick all the links to our notes in there. So thanks again, Billy, and thanks for listening, everyone. Until next time, peace, passion, and purpose. See you soon.